I did want to bring forth this because any of you guys listening, May is Mental Health Awareness Month.
Yes.
I appreciate Kaz. We did check in with each other.
Yes.
Not often, but when we did, we just knew that it was a lot over this last year. Yeah. Not even through the pandemic. I mean, I entered a new relationship. We both started new businesses. There was also a question as to the businesses prior. You had Henny Palooza, our touring completely stopped. So money shifted, creative shifted.
Love flagrant too.
Mental shifted. Yeah. And so because May is Mental Health Awareness Month, I do want to kind of, I guess, check in with both of you. The world is about to open up. I'm feeling a level of anxiety with the world opening back up.
Yeah.
And so I just wanted to check in with both of y'all with where you're at now and how truly everything has affected y'all's mental and where you're at now.
Oh, therapy is from God. Mm-hmm. Like, I started therapy maybe a month or two into quarantine, and it was the best decision I could have possibly made. And I didn't do it really because of the pandemic. I kind of felt like, well, now I have time. Mm-hmm. Now I have time if I'm gonna sit and be reflective and now have to find different ways to be with myself, which I think was the hardest part for everybody in the pandemic, was like sitting with yourself. There's nowhere you can go. There's nothing extracurricular you can really participate in with anybody so you really had to sit with yourself. People had a lot of time. Yeah. And so, I didn't even think of it as utilizing the time properly, but more so like, I'm afraid of falling into a dark hole. I don't want to fall into a dark hole. I don't want that to happen. So I started going to therapy, and therapy has really been a tremendous support. Even with things that I didn't think even needed support. Even just to have a soundboard, just to have, access to someone or something that could present a very unbiased perspective about what was going on with me and who I am and where I'm at in my life and my career, and moving back to, I moved back to New York in the middle of a pandemic, and I lived in LA for 9 years. Right. There was never nothing in my future plans at any point was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna move back to New York and move in with my mom for a couple months and save money, which thank God I was able to do. You know what I mean? I know that there's people that would love to be able to, move back home and stay with their parents for a little bit if they could have stacked money and done all that, and I was able to do it. So,
there's a lot of fear. There's a lot of fear in that, and that takes a lot.
Because you hit reset, right?
But it also takes you to it's an ego check. Yeah. Because a lot of people would never want to do that at what people may think or how they may be perceived or judged or what people may say. Right. And so to really just be like, I need a reset and I need this reset for me. Fuck the world and what anyone has to think. Right. I mean, I think that takes a lot to do into your 30s and you have reset. Now we're fucking neighbors.
Well, the part that got me excited was like, I can move home and not pay rent.
Oh man, that's my biggest regret.
I can live somewhere for a couple months and not pay rent.
I feel like I left the nest too early. Like if
I left the nest 3 days after graduation of high school.
Right after,
I left the nest at 18 years old, and of course, at 18, your idea of money is a joke.
Very different.
So I packed up my Hyundai Sonata. 3 days after graduating high school, and I moved to Atlanta, and I thought I was doing something with $900 in my account.
Ooh, balling.
$900 in Atlanta.
$1,000 out of high school.
When you were,
I'm good.
I worked 2 jobs. I was like, I saved up for this, and some of it was
also
even
in Atlanta.
Right, come on, but Atlanta at the time also was cheap. I ended up moving into a roommate. My rent, I'll never forget. My rent in my first apartment with a roommate, we finessed it and got like some, I don't know, broke people deal, whatever it's called. We only paid $398 a piece for a 2-bedroom in downtown Atlanta at the time.
Must be nice.
Oh yeah, this was my rent in 2009. This was 2009.
That's a car note.
Yeah, this was 2000, and I had a car. My car was paid off for. Yeah. But yeah, I left the nest very fast, and it was actually, I gotta make it, and I pressured myself. I worked 2-3 jobs. This is probably why I ended up only dealing with men who could give me money. I felt like I can't go back home, right? And so I wish that I had even that at 23, 24 to be like, I moved up here, $400 to my name. Wouldn't see nobody unless they was giving me money. And there was just a lot of things that transitioned in my mind as a woman and how I viewed men and how I viewed life, because I was like, I gotta make it. Yeah. And if I ain't got me, ain't nobody else gonna have me. And so the fact that you were able to do that without,
I did it with no pride. I was like,
I had too much pride
about this at all.
I had too much.
I was What? I'm 34. There was an element of fear about moving back, more so because I knew New York was not going to be what it was when I left.
Right.
So
especially during the pandemic.
Yeah, and my fears and anxieties were more so centered around the social aspects of it. Like most of my friends moved to LA last year or the year prior. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it was like literally watching everybody move. You know what I mean? Like Raven moved last year.
Everybody.
Everybody.
Jamal, everybody
like me
left.
and Lo.
Everybody.
Yeah, that's like you and Lo.
Y'all are the only ones left.
For the last of
You,
the
Lo,
Mohicans.
and Rory are never leaving, and it's like, okay, thank God. There's at least there's a few people I know that are here.
Yeah, y'all are never leaving.
But everyone else just kind of, and I think a lot of that had to do with career moves. And I remember when I moved to LA, I was in that space of like, okay, I'm traveling a lot, I'm working really hard. I want my home and my space to feel like I live in a peaceful vacation style environment. You know what I mean? Because when I think about it now, last year was really the first time I spent more than 2 months at a time, like 2 consecutive months in LA. I lived in LA for 9 years and I was in New York once a month.
Oh, wow.
Once a month, easily. So last year
This subtle flex
the
is brought to you
longest.
by, because that flight is not fucking cheap with your rich ass.
I know, but it was.
I
be
hate
looking
that
like,
cross-country flight.
That
I can go-
cross-country flight is trash.
I can go to Europe for cheaper. It's also
Yeah.
sometimes a shorter flight than going
Yeah.
to LA.
But it was a work thing. So even if I wasn't coming to New York, I'd
Right.
be in Atlanta or I'd be, you know what I mean? There was always something going on somewhere else. But that was also the beauty of living in LA, where it's like my downtime is still so limited that I want it to be with palm trees. I want it to be 80 degrees when I get to
Right.
be home, because I don't get to be here for a long period of
That
time.
was you too, Kaz. Though you were not only on tour, but you had multiple podcasts at one time.
Yeah.
You have to be present to be on television. You do a lot of things. So when you did have to just sit your ass down, and then also everything that happened with Henny Palooza, kind of just
and then
can't do a party.
And then Duce Palooza.
and then also just
not being able to
friends
throw a party
leaving.
now because of COVID. Like,
Yeah,
Everything.
man, it was-
Where was that for you
This
mentally?
past year, I mean, like I was always seeing a therapist. I've been seeing a therapist at least for the past 3-4 years.
Oh, wow.
But off and on. But I really locked in last year because,
Yeah.
like Bridget said, like I had to just kind of sit down. I was going through a lot of life changes.
Yeah.
I got engaged. I was, I left a successful podcast. Like,
Yeah.
we couldn't tour for Palooza. Like, there was a
Yeah.
bunch of stuff where I just really did not know what was going to happen. But, being able to kind of like pour into a professional, I think that's very important. I think a lot of us where we kind of mess up is we pour into people that we love because we love them, but they're not like properly equipped to like take all of that you got on your plate. You know what I mean?